Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back for A Queen's Roundtable Leadership Symposium. This particular one is titled My Health is My Wealth. And yes, we are focusing on our mental, physical, and spiritual health, on us women entrepreneurs, or should I say, for women entrepreneurs, because we are very likely to put ourselves last anyway. And being an entrepreneur, that's an extra hat that we wear that oftentimes we we don't know how to put ourselves first. We don't know how to put our or prioritize our health, right? We keep piling on more and more and more. So, the next guest that I'm bringing to the stage next is going to share a testimony with you. So, get comfortable. You don't want to miss it. Let me just give a couple of announcements though before I bring her on. So, again, you have joined us for the Eight Queens Roundtable Leadership Symposium. This one is titled My Health is My Wealth. And I am your host, Dr. Jacqueline Harrison. And this particular symposium is held twice a year. It's semi-annual in March and September. And March is our My Health is My Wealth theme. So I want to let you know, please stay tuned. Subscribe to the Eight Queens Roundtable YouTube channel if you have not done so already. That way you can receive any alerts or all the alerts in terms of when I'm getting ready to go live and basically what is in store. In addition to that, for the Eight Queens Roundtable show, I am always looking for guests. If you are interested in spotlighting your business, look me up. Let's have a conversation and let's make it happen. If you are looking to be a TV show host and join me on the Eight Queens Roundtable channel on the Women Win Network, definitely look me up and let's have a conversation about that as well. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Jacqueline Jeter. Let me tell you a little bit about Miss Jacqueline before I bring her to the stage. She's recognized as a sought after transformational and motivational international speaker, best selling author, trainer, change agent. B. Jacqueline holds several degrees and boasts a 3-decade career as a consummate pharmaceutical scientist in global drug research and development program management. She is the founder and CEO of Grow, Lead, and Prosper, a personal and professional training and leadership development company focused on equipping high achieving women and organizations with skills and strategy to grow their leadership from lackluster to legendary, thereby increasing their influence and impact. B. Jacqueline is an independent certified leadership coach, trainer, speaker with Maxwell Leadership, a certified neuroscience coach, and neuro leader as well. Oh, I'm sorry, neuro leader and as well an ordained minister. All right, so let all of that soak in. Let it soak in. All right, so you don't want to miss this. Go ahead and grab a pen and a pad and just sit back and prepare to be engaged and educated and just nourishment all around. All right, so I'm going to bring her to the stage. Well, hello there, Miss Jacqueline. Welcome to the platform.
Hello, how are you? Thank you.
I am doing well. I just wanted to say hello to you again, and I'm going to go ahead and you can get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Jacqueline. Hi, everybody. As Dr. Jacqueline said, I am B. Jacqueline Jeter, and I want to share with you some things first, some statistics. In 2023, an estimated 297,790 new cases of invasive breast cancer will be diagnosed in women in the US, as well as 55,720 new cases of non-invasive in situ breast cancer. There are currently over 3.8 million breast cancer survivors in the US alone. An estimated 43,700 US women will die from breast cancer, unfortunately. And this is as of 2023. I don't have the 2024 stats yet. And the risk of breast cancer recurrence depends on the type and staging of the initial breast cancer. And typically the highest risk of recurrence is during the first few years after treatment, but that decreases over time. 1 in 8 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. And in 2023, an estimated almost 300,000 women and 2,800 men were diagnosed with invasive breast cancer, because it does affect men as well. But there's hope, because when it's caught early, localized stages, the 5-year survival rate is 99%. And the key way of how it's being caught early is self-care. And I'll get to that in a minute. There are dates in a person's life that they will always remember: their birth date, the day they were born, their first kiss, possibly, their wedding dates, the birth of a child, death of a loved one, etc. Well, in 2021 and in 2023, I added 2 memorable dates to my list: 08/26/2021 and 09/18/2023. That was the first and the second diagnosis of breast cancer in my life. I am 1 in 8. You see, breast cancer is not respective of social, economic, ethnic groups. It's not. Anyone and everyone can get breast cancer. I just gave you the stats. When I was first diagnosed, I thought, are you really talking to me? You know, God, I want to win the lottery, not this lottery. I want to win the one with the money, right? Not this 1 in 8 lottery. But I became part of a sisterhood and brotherhood that I never thought I'd be a part of. The reality is that we have to take better care of ourselves. Not that I didn't. I worked out every day. I ate 80/20, relatively healthy. I may have a burger or whatever here or there, but not consistently. And so it was very baffling to me that I would get breast cancer, because I don't have a positive genetic link, even though I had 2 sisters that had breast cancer. They had different stories, and their story is different than mine. They're no longer with us, unfortunately. But I knew that this was not going to be that. As a scientist, I knew already some of the things, and I'm actually doing oncology research right now. I knew some of the things that, some of the treatments that were out there, some of the things that you can encounter during treatment. Because the first diagnosis, both times were very, very small tumors. But the first diagnosis, I went through chemo. I went through chemo, and then I went through what's called a lumpectomy, where they localize, take up that area with the tissue. Instead of taking your whole breast off, they take up that area, and had lymph nodes removed, and had to go through therapy for that, and then radiation, which changes your skin and everything. But the bottom line is, and it was, I was alive. I didn't care about all those changes. I was alive. And then when those 2 small dots came up in 2023, I was a little floored, as were my physicians, but I know my body. And it's very important that we know our bodies, ladies and gentlemen, because by knowing my body, I found the first breast cancer. If I didn't know my body, if I wasn't doing my regular exams, which I do every other, usually 2 weeks, 2 times a month, but definitely do it at least once a month. And most women I talk to going through this journey, they found their own cancer. They found the cancer that was invading their body. It didn't come from a mammogram. And so it's very important, because here's the reality as well. 47% of women will put off or postpone preventative services due to cost. There are programs there that if you can't afford something, that you can get that particular assistance. You may have to dig a little bit to get the information, but that information is there. So make sure you're not putting off your health for a cost, or for not being able to get off work or things like that. One thing I champion and advocate is for employers to understand when someone is going through a health crisis, what time they need to be off work, because not all of them do. I was fortunate to be at a company that supported me greatly. Whatever time you need, whatever you need to do. I work remotely for my job, but they were just like, everything you need, just do it, because they wanted me to be healthy. So think about that. 47% of women put off their health, their preventative services. So get your mammogram and check your breast every month, and get your mammograms every year. And just go ahead and get tested. Ask your doctor to test you for the BRCA gene to see if you have any kind of genetic link. Most breast cancers aren't linked to the BRCA gene, but still you want to know if it heightens your incidence of occurrence. Breast cancer is the second leading cause of death in women in the US, but it's preventable. So get your mammograms. And the other reality is that 64% of breast cancers are diagnosed at a localized stage, as I said before, which increases the survival rate to 99%. Before, people were dying from breast cancer, and they still are. But I have friends and people I've met who were diagnosed with stage 3 and 4, and they are cancer free and have been for years. So it doesn't have to be a death sentence. So one thing about going through this particular journey has been that my whole life has changed. And it's changed in the sense of the things I could do. I was very, very active before. I'm getting back to activity now. After having lymph nodes taken out, you can lose your range of motion. And after having the radiation, my skin's kind of crazy. And when I had that second bout, I opted to have the double mastectomy, or it was suggested strongly, since it was just a short period of time, went from the first occurrence to the second occurrence, that I would have a mastectomy. So even though the left breast was fine, clear and clean, as my nephew said, it was guilty by association. So it had to go too. And I had people ask me, how did you handle that mentally? I don't know how to do if I didn't have any breasts, because I opted not to have a reconstruction based on the fact of the process being very, very labor intensive. And I just did not want to go through that again. I wanted to be able to get to a point where I can get back my strength and get back into normalcy and get back my health and get back to working out like I was before, and as active as I was before, and just carry on with life. Because for 2.5, almost 3 years, my life was about breast cancer and going to a clinic to get treatment or having someone take a test about something. And that weighs on you. So one thing about the mental health of a breast cancer patient is that it has to be strong for survival and the support that's needed. The worst thing you can say to somebody is, I know what you're going through. If you haven't had cancer, never say that. Never say that. Because it's really kind of a front. Because once you hear those words, invasive ductal carcinoma or cancer or whatever it's been communicated to you, once you hear those words, your life is never the same. You can't unhear that. Your psyche is somehow reprogrammed, because every little ache and pain, you thinking, oh my God, could that be cancer? You could see one piece of your hair on a comb, and you're like, oh my God, my hair's falling out. You are in a different mental and emotional state. But having good, strong people around you helps you grounding. One that's grounded me is my faith in God. Being a Christian helped and has carried me through this, because I didn't see the cancer. I saw my healing. So I was able to walk through it differently. I've had friends around me that were strategic in prayer and praying for different things and side effects of drugs, because one of the hallmark side effects was nausea. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, I would rather have surgery without anesthesia than to be nauseous. And so a lot of them attack that in prayer, and I was never nauseous. The only pain I ever felt was when I first found the lump, because when the water hit my breast, I had just come from a workout and I thought it was something weird because I was tired. My skin was just weird, but it hurt. I knew something, it was not sore, it hurt. So in that, I had that pain, and then I had some bone pain from a drug they gave me after each chemotherapy, but that was resolved and taken care of. But I never had any pain after that. Even after having a double mastectomy, I didn't have any pain. So my faith and having those people positive around me was very important. John Maxwell talks about in his 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth, that book, he talks about one of the things called the law of environment, and your environment is very important. Whether you're going through breast cancer or not, your environment is very important to your mental health. If you have an environment that's really cluttered and things like that, you're going to feel kind of anxious. Your creativity is going to be stumped. And so when you are supporting, if you're a supporter or a caregiver, if you're a cancer survivor, just know that you don't have to be Rebecca Sunnybrook Farm, and you don't have to give that kind of support to them, but be realistic. Don't treat us like we're dying. Treat us like we'll let you know if we need some help with something. Because that was me. I had people around me that were like, are you okay? I'm fine. I'll be okay. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And they let me do that because it kept me normal. It's hard enough going through knowing you have something that's killing you, growing in your body, and you're trying to kill it, that then for someone to kind of treat you like you're now an invalid, because you're not. You're not an invalid. You're a strong warrior. You're a courageous warrior. You are a survivor. So in supporting cancer patients, just treat them normally. Just be there for them. My life, I said, as you told you, a lot of things changed, and I could be on here forever telling you about that. My taste buds, my fingernails, my skin, my muscles, my nerves, those things. There's the aftermath of cancer, and that aftermath sometimes is harder and more challenging to navigate than going through cancer itself, because then you're stuck with or left with the resolution of why do my fingers and my feet tingle? Well, that's probably neuropathy from the drugs. Why do my knees hurt? Why do my bones ache so much? And they didn't feel like that. That's probably from some of the treatments you're getting that actually attack that. And when your estrogen drops, that also creates that. So it's a conundrum of things that's happening to you that is hard to sometimes just really, really explain or really kind of digest. But one of the things that's helped me a lot, besides my faith, because I believe faith and prayer are important, is that even before going through breast cancer, I had a therapist, someone I could talk to and get this weight off of me. And so the therapist that I have has been awesome too. So that's been a very big key to me being able to navigate breast cancer. And you have to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for any challenge. But definitely when you go through breast cancer, it's a day by day thing, because you never know when you wake up that morning if something's going to be aching. If you just look, I may just look at my hair one day and think, I used to have 3 feet of hair and now I don't have hardly any. But it's okay because it's cool and it's chic and it's very easy to do now, right? But keep who you are. Don't let breast cancer change you. You change it, and you can change it by being an advocate for others, an advocate for legislations in your area, for bringing awareness and bringing assistance to someone else. I've been people I met during when I met during my journey have asked me to come alongside them so they can know what questions to ask their doctors. Because as a scientist, I knew some questions to ask, and so being informed and having I had excellent insurance and things like that. But no, not every woman has that access. Not every woman has that experience. So it's important that we are there to be a support to those persons going through and who have gone through, and support local nonprofits that are also adding to things. So I just want to reiterate that I'm 1 in 8, but it's not a death sentence. I'm here. I have many more years to live. I have much more impact and to make. And what we need, and what I would like to say to you as far as mental health awareness and being mentally aware about breast cancer, is to educate yourself. But the biggest thing, ladies, is to listen to your body. Your body will tell you when it has a problem. Your body will tell you when something's going on. So listen to your body. Make sure you're doing your exams and put your health first. That's what I would love to say and share with you tonight. I thank you, Dr. Jacqueline, for this opportunity. And excuse me, I thank you for this opportunity. And I hope that something I've said will encourage you and empower you to educate yourself about breast cancer, be more aware, but make sure you are listening to your body and putting your health first.
Yes. Though that was, oh my God, just hearing you read those statistics, I had no idea. I had no idea about that. One of the things that kind of, well, so much of it stuck out, as you were talking, and I was backstage listening. I had, shared with you on a personal level about, myself being diagnosed in 2018. And I wanted you to kind of talk about this. I know for me, I don't know. It was, I felt like when I first got the diagnosis, I kind of pulled away from everybody because I didn't really want to talk about it. And one of the big things was that I felt that when I mentioned it to people, just seeing, their facial expressions, their body expressions, I felt like I was being re-traumatized. And
Yes,
then at that point, I felt like I was managing their feelings. I want to know, did you have a similar experience?
I did. And one thing that came to my mind, and my sweetie was with me when I got the report from the nurse navigator. And I burst into tears, and I was just like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. So for 30 minutes, I had planned my service. I had planned, make sure I had all these documents in place. I did all this in my head. And he's like, babe, it doesn't mean you're getting ready to die. This means you now know what's going on and what's the next. We got to figure out the next steps. And so when he said that, it kind of just sobered me a lot. And I just kind of went into a different mindset of, okay, God, if we're going to do this, and we are, I'm not going to die. This is easy. It's something, it's treatable, it's curable. Let's do this. Whatever has to happen, I'm going to live. And so I went into scientific mode. I was Googling everything. And then I called the nurse navigator back. And she said, I want to keep you on one website because those other websites have, discordant information. And I said, well, that's good because I died 7 times in Google and I didn't just kind of getting upset. So what happened was when I had to be very, very sensitive with telling my family because I have 2 sisters that still are here. And my sister that passed away, one of my sisters passed away, her youngest son and I are very, very close. And so I called him. He's very, very stable. So I called him and let him know. He says, well, Auntie, that's where the this ain't that came from. He goes, this ain't that. He goes, Mama did not always go to her appointments. That's why it's important. That's why I said 47% of women will forego their appointments for whatever reason, mainly cost, but it's all the things that come in there. So don't do that. It's a matter of life and death. So when I was talking to other people, I just asked God who to share stuff with because I had seen that happen before. Being a minister, I've heard people say, oh, my grandmother had that and she died. You're like, well, that's not helping nobody. So I became very selfish that I'm not going to listen. There are people who were close to me that were just like, girl, are you okay? Ooh, you're going to lose all your hair. I'm like, I could have long hair in a casket or no hair walking around living. I think I'll take the latter. So I had to just really take control of my psyche and protect my environment. And my sweetie was really good with doing that, as well as other family. My older sister's living. She never, and she still this day has not spoken that I had cancer. She's like, there was an invader in my sister's body. She won't say the word cancer at all. And so a good friend of mine who is also a Christian mentor to me, a spiritual mentor to me, she is not yours. So stop saying my cancer. So I had to change my wording. And when somebody else said it, I even trained my doctors, my nurses and everything. It's not my cancer. It's just cancer that's attacking my body. So I took control over all of that. And so people around me, I didn't manage their, oh, I'm so sorry. Because there's some people I didn't tell that and I didn't let them in my space. Or, those kind of things like that. I had to do that but that, like I said, that was a growth space because the first 30 minutes I was going to die. And then the first week, I was going through like, how can something be inside of me killing me? And I don't know, it was just, wow. Like, how can I work out every day and eat healthy? And this is happening to me. So I went through those kind of mental spaces more so than people, but I did just keep myself isolated with certain people around me.
Okay. I like that. How you said, say it again. It wasn't my cancer. It was a cancer
attacking my body.
That was attacking your body. And you wrapped your brain around that and got the other individuals, even your doctors on board, how you wanted to be, how you want to talk about it, I guess. Okay.
Right. And that was funny because when I had radiation, my radiation doctor, my last radiation visit, they said, you can have radiation. It's going to have this big, it's going to tear your skin's going to be all whatever. And I was like, no, it's not, because I'm not believing that. And that's not what we're praying. That's counteracted to what we are praying. And I had probably a dime and a half, maybe a little bit, maybe not even a full quarter size like space that peeled. But the last doctor that I saw there, my radiation doctor was on vacation for my last visit. And she goes, oh, that's going to peel. It's going to be really blistery. I said, it's not. She goes, well, that's what happens. I understand what happens. It's not going to happen to me. And she was like, and so the nurse came in. She goes, she'll train you what to say to her because you're not going to tell her that's what's going to happen because it's not going to happen. Because a lot of the things that happen to other patients haven't happened to her. So she's like, I'm just being straight up with you. I understand that, but I'm just being straight with you too. It's not going to happen to me. I understand it can happen, but it doesn't have to happen. Those are the facts. This is my truth. So that was how I really navigated this whole journey.
Yeah. And that's very, very empowering just to hear that, and other people that are going through it, either maybe, alongside of loved ones that are going through it, or maybe going through it themselves,
Mhm.
can help them to kind of take control of it. You know what I mean? Because that's what you did. Like you said, you had your I'm gonna die, your little plan. You had your casket picked out, and headstone, what you wanted on there. You had your little your moment. Then you was like, boom, okay, let's go. What do I need to do? What we got. You know what I mean? And focus on that.
Right.
And we always hear that mindset determines everything. And
Yeah,
it's the same thing here, because it's easy to kind of, like you said, get folk, and I think it's very natural to get, like you said, to have those different types of thoughts. Well, like,
it
well,
is.
dang, you know what I mean? I don't even eat pork, or I don't drink and smoke. You know what I mean? Because and the bottom line is it happens. Because
It has.
there are some people that have abused their body with drugs over and over and over again. They don't have no aches, no pains, no nothing. Then you got another individual, don't smoke, don't drink, for the most part leads a clean, healthy life, and they got
Right.
every known ailment known to man. They got it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So just it is what it is. But sometimes, you get stuck in that why me, and I think that's very normal, it's very natural, but
It
just
is.
don't stay there. Just don't
Don't
stay
stay there. Because
there.
I'm not saying that, things were just flying through the city, because there are days I woke up and I would just be laying there like, I cannot believe I'm dealing with cancer. God, why this happened to me? I mean, this makes no
Mhm.
sense. I mean, don't you love me? I mean, I went through those times like that. And then I had
Right.
to kind of shake myself and get myself back in focus, because once I get that, if you go down that rabbit trail, you'll stay down that rabbit trail.
Mhm.
And depression, and as a counselor, you already know this, depression is the worst thing. It's a hard thing to get back from, but that kind of stress is not good for your healing of your body.
Right.
So that's why I'm thankful I had a good village around me. And that's why I'm very keen about advocating and being there, and getting resources for women to make sure they have that kind of village and support, who don't have the access that I have.
Mhm.
Because like I said, I was very fortunate, very good job, very good access with family and friends, and excellent healthcare. So um, not everybody has that, and that's been more elucidated for me. So being a scientist in pharmaceutical development gives me even spurns me even further to be a bigger advocate. But those things come. That's why it's important to also have a therapist or someone else to talk to who does not attach to you,
Right.
because they can see through your stuff. Because you can probably convince your family, "Oh, I'm doing fine," and go upstairs and burst out into tears. But a therapist will be able to talk through those things, so they can see stuff that they can't see.
Absolutely. Of course, I totally agree. Not just because I'm a therapist, but I agree in general. So I know you mentioned about you gave that statistic about 47% of women tend to put off preventative care, which kind of goes into the whole thing of what we're talking about. My health is my wealth. And my target audience is my target audience is women entrepreneurs. So I think even
Mm.
just women in general, because I've talked to so many women in my business, in my career, my friends, family, just the span of my career in itself. And we oftentimes, not all of us, but a great amount of us, way too many, put ourselves on the back burner. And like you said, we don't listen. We we basically suck it up, because I know growing up, I was told things like, and this sounds so crazy saying this out loud now, but you ain't got time to be sick. You know what I mean?
All
Get
for
your,
that.
come
Yeah.
on, let's go. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think some of that, or that it plays a huge role. It
It
plays a
does.
because that's being in tune with yourself. Like you said, that's listening to yourself. That's taking care of yourself. You know,
Loving yourself.
loving yourself, which is I think is a little challenging for some of us. Some of us as women have to learn how to do that. We need to be
Exactly.
that process.
We do. And I think the other thing about that is, if I take off, if this is just a little pain, it'll be fine. I don't have time. I can't miss my hours. I ain't got time to do this here. I don't have time. I got a meeting over here. I'll be okay. I'll do whatever. It's probably just that we try to self-diagnose a lot, which is not good. Um, and the other thing is, we feel that we are being lazy, or we're not being responsible when we say, I need to go to the doctor because I have a pain in my shoulder. So yeah, I mean, that's just something that, especially with women entrepreneurs, because your insurance may be different. That I'm still in corporate America and an entrepreneur. So I have I don't say a fail safe, but I have different kind of support system there, so to speak. I do have friends who are entrepreneurs and their insurance is different. It's more costlier. There's things that they may not pay for. Like, well, I can't afford that, but you can't afford not to have it, because the alternative is the bill could be bigger, or could be a bigger bill for your family because you're no longer here. And I hate to put it that way, but if you look across the news and this or that, people are checking out of life real quickly and at earlier ages for just some for no reason. So it's very important that we really do listen to our bodies, because during COVID, a lot of people did not go to the doctor because they couldn't, because one, they didn't have them. You had to have like either the virtual ones or their offices were closed. And I lost several physicians during that time because they retired. They were tired. They're like, I'm not doing this anymore. And they retired. So find a new physician. So if you have a physician that is someone that you trust, I look at my physicians as good girlfriends I go talk to every so often. So it's that kind of thing that we have to make sure we do, because that 47% was staggering to me. I didn't know it was that high. I knew that we do, especially as Black women. We were like, oh, I'm strong. I can weather this. I got this, because we've listened to that strong woman thing play in our head all the time. But it's okay to go to the doctor. Do an annual checkup at the very least. See your PCP once a year at the very least, because that's important.
It's funny that you mentioned about two things. When I heard that 47%, I had to try to fix my face over here, because that surprises me. That really surprises me. And that's a whole nother discussion about Black women, and where all of this have to be superwoman, and juggle all these balls and not drop any. I guess that's a whole nother conversation as far as where does that come from? Because I know, I watched my aunts, my mom, my grandmother, with that same type of mentality, So, but the point is, ladies, we got to do better. We got to do better.
Another thing real quickly is because we talked about self-love before and self-care. A lot of times we look at self-care as esoteric, but self-care starts within. So that's why I always tell people that having a therapist doesn't mean you're crazy. Me having a therapist means I'm not going to be crazy. Because if I didn't have one, I probably would be a little in the corner with a jacket fastened in the back. I don't know, but it is different. If you can't afford a therapist, get a trusted person that you know. It may be a girlfriend, but a lot of times a girlfriend may not help. It might not be the best person to talk to, but talk to somebody about it. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, self-love starts within.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned about it being esoteric, because a lot of times, in my profession, I come across women all the time that really don't even really have a full understanding of what self-care is. Or the first thing they think about is, well, I have a trip planned this time next year to go to Jamaica, or I'm going to get my nails and my hair done, and those things are great, but like you said, it doesn't really work on it, it's only surface level.
Right.
It's only surface level. And, I know everybody likes to plan trips, and I agree with that. But I mean, you have to find something that you can do on a daily basis to rejuvenate yourself.
And it may be affirmations. And that's one thing. When I talked about the law of environment and I was praying, I knew that Holy Spirit was telling me, I was hearing in my spirit as I was reading, to because chemo can affect your eyesight. And it did, because chemo is cumulative. So in the last I had six sessions. The last two, I was looking at my phone and I kept asking myself, can you wipe my phone off? It looks kind of like it's got some oil or something on it. And so he wiped it off. He gave it to me. I said, babe, it's not clean. He's like, there's nothing wrong with your phone. And so it was my eyesight. And so my mental again went somewhere else, as I'm a scientist. So it's going to go way over there. And I'm like, Lord, I'm going blind. I mean, that's why I had a meltdown. I can't be having cancer and go blind. And then all these things are happening to me. Why is this happening to me? I had my moment. So things will come along in this journey and make you have that amp out moment. And then again, you have a voice of reason, babe. Then they say that you say that they can affect your eyesight, but it'll rebound. You're not going blind. And so the thing about that is it did rebound. And when I went to get my eyes checked, and get my eyes checked about 8 months after that, almost a year after that, my eyesight was what it was in 2018. So it had gotten better when it came back. So it was just those kind of things happen with us, and happen along the journey. But it's those things of making sure your environment is good. Because what happened was I had books on tape I could listen to. I fed my mind, I fed my emotions with something positive, because there's enough negativity going to be around you. You're going to see it when you go get a treatment or something. You're going to see somebody like, I hope that's not going to be me. I hope that's not going to be me. Because you'll be somebody who's sicker than you know, who's sick and who's in a worse state than you are. And they may not even have breast cancer. They may have some other kind of cancer, but you don't know that. But you see they may be getting sick at their whatever. Or they may be really frail and whatnot. Or they have that kind of a look sometimes, that sallow look. But you have to protect your mind. Mindset is definitely powerful. And as a man thinketh, so is he. So make sure, like I had affirmations on my on stickies on my mirror when I went to the bathroom. I had them everywhere I could see them, because I needed to feed myself with something positive. And then I had things, like I said, on tape and music playing and stuff like that to keep my atmosphere, my environment positive.
Did you, what was the other thing I was going to say to you? Oh, I know you talked about having pretty good insurance, and you said that some of the barriers may be an individual that doesn't, have a good insurance plan. Any, I don't know, resources or recommendations or suggestions for some of those individuals?
There's pharmaceutical companies a lot of times who will have programs that you have to call and kind of ask about those. They're not advertising that stuff. There are also local nonprofits that may be able to help you. Like, so there is a local nonprofit here, and there's also there's also breast cancer networks that they have a lot of information in your local area. So seek those out. Sister Network is a national, but they also have local chapters. I belong to the one here in the Triangle. I'm in North Carolina. So there are different kind of resources like that. I would say Google and see, because some of them give assistance for you to get to the doctor, because some people don't have enough money to get to the doctor, because you can't drive. If you're getting chemo, you can't drive with the chemo. You have to have somebody to pick you up. And if you're, depending on where you are in that space, you're just tired. It does fatigue you. And you drive, and like I told you about the eyesight, you don't be out there driving like Mr. Magoo anyway. So you have to have that support. It's the little things like getting to the doctor, food. So one thing that myself and another friend of mine are doing is creating this website of resources, and it'll go live in the next few months. But the actual program, or the actual platform, is called Courageous Conquerors for Life. And the reason why we are creating this is we don't do diagnoses, and this is not anything I say has anything to do with diagnoses. What we do is to provide that information, that resource, because we're both scientists. Like, here's some questions to ask your doctor, and they probably questions they never, had never probably heard from somebody else, unless a few here and there. So my doctors were like, "You're just different because you're asking us questions. We got to go back and research." Advocate for yourself. So, but those resources, and having there's a lot of other programs out there. There are clinical trials, and a lot of times we, especially African Americans, go back to the whole Tuskegee experiment, which happened decades ago, and it was under different regulations. Clinical trials are so much different now. So you're not going to be a guinea pig. They're very highly regulated, and companies are not going to close down for putting you in a clinical trial and lose billions of dollars for devising a clinical trial that's going to do something like the Tuskegee experiment did a long time ago. But so one of those, that's another good area with, if it's an insurance or access issue. And so those are some key things, but I'll also send to you some information that I have for different organizations nationally. There's a group called, and it's lost my head. It's the breast. Oh God, I have to send that to you. It's a organization, and it's founded by some Black women physicians, and they talk a lot about breast cancer, especially because with Black women, we are, I think it's like 20% less. We're more or less likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer, but we're most likely to die from it. So we get diagnosed less than our white counterparts, but we die more than they do for two reasons. One, we don't go to the doctor. So it's access and things like that and treatment. The other one is a lot of there's different types of breast cancer. The one that attacked my body was HER2 positive, ER positive, PR positive, and that has to do with progesterone and hormones. And I won't get into the scientific piece of that. I'll just leave it at that. The other one is triple negative, for which there's not a lot of treatment. And the reason why it's not a lot of treatment, and that one affects Black women disproportionately. And the reason why there's not a lot of treatment for triple negative is because there's no data. And there's no data because we don't present for clinical trials and those kind of, and take those surveys and get involved in those kind of things. We can get data. So we need to do that more to be able to have better treatment for ourselves.
Which one did you say most commonly affects Black women? What's it
It's
called?
called triple negative. It's HER2 negative, ER negative, and PR negative. So the actual treatments for that, like for something like that, they can't get radiation. A lot of the chemo, because it doesn't. So with HER2 positive has to do with where the cancer grows on the cell. And so because in HER2 negative, it's not really, it doesn't have those type of receptors. It's hard to target it. It's hard to treat it. The cancer drugs that we have, and there's a lot more advancement that's happening in cancer research and for treatments. Now we have more target things. They're looking at vaccines. They're looking at pills that are be more targeted. They're looking at other things that you can actually target what the cancer is. Because when you have chemo, it kills every cell in your body, every one of them. And so good and bad. So things are advancing a lot. But with HER2, with the triple negative, it's difficult because they don't have the data. They don't have the data or the people to present for it, because most of those women are African American.
Okay.
White women, there are some Caucasians but it's disproportionately Black women.
Okay.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, I knew personally someone who didn't have breast cancer, but a different type of cancer. And their doctor was very, very proactive with getting them, linked up with different clinical trials, which really, really extended that person's life, really extended that person's life. So, okay. Well, this has been very informative. Informative. Very, yes, very informative. Is that the word I'm looking for? Yes, informative. I need to have something to eat, okay? Black bread, y'all. But yeah, so you've given out a lot of good information, Jacqueline, and I really appreciate you. So let's do this with the remaining maybe 3-4 minutes. What do you want to leave the audience with, as well as let them know, because I know I want to make sure that people get connected with you because of the website that you guys are talking about putting together with the resources, like all in one place. So leave us with some words of encouragement, or however you want to go with that, and then tell us a little bit more about what's in store and how they can connect with you.
Okay. I want to just tell you that I know what it feels like to hear the words cancer. And I know how it really impacts your mindset, your heart set, everything, your emotions. There are days I want to just crawl in the bed and not get out. There are days I'm like, God, just go and take me now. This is going to get worse. There are days like that. But one thing, whether you believe in God, a higher power, whomever you get your strength from, tap into that. Make sure that you are giving yourself self-talk. Of all the people we listen to each day, you are the person that you listen to the most. So make sure you're giving a good and positive word to yourself. You are valuable. You are needed. And cancer does not have to be a death sentence, no matter what stage it is. I said before, I have friends who are at stage 3 and 4, and you never know. You never know. So don't listen to the naysayers or the negative. Get informed. And the way you can get informed is you can reach out to me at B. Jacqueline Jeter on Facebook. You can, and I'm also B. Jacqueline Jeter on Instagram. You can also reach out to me at BJAC Leads, Leads, at gmail.com. bjackleads@gmail.com. And like I said, the website should be finished in the next month and a half. And we'll be launching that. And that'll have resources and things like that, because there's so many other things that come after breast cancer and after diagnosis. So I just speak to all of you that you have peace in your heart and mind, and know that you are still amazing. Don't let cancer cheapen you. Don't let it conquer you. You conquer it.
Oh, absolutely. Wow. And this gives such hope and encouragement, and provides a lot of education as well. I mean, I just want to thank you again for,
You.
allowing me to have you here and to speak your truth, in hopes to help encourage, inspire, and educate, individuals, like I said, that are going through it themselves, or may have a loved one, that's going through it. You're also on LinkedIn too, right? I don't think you
I am on
mentioned.
LinkedIn. Sorry. Yes, I am on LinkedIn as Barbara Jacqueline Jeter. That's what the B,
Okay.
Jacqueline. The B is for
Okay.
Barbara.
I thought so, because I think I reach out to you more on LinkedIn, so it made me think of it. So okay, all right, well, great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. All right, well, Jacqueline, I will definitely talk to you again soon. And again, reach out to Jacqueline. Like I said, if you have some questions, you just need to be pointed in the right direction, definitely reach out to her. All right, and stay connected.
Stay
All right,
connected.
Jack. All right. Be Jacqueline Jeter. I will talk with you again soon. And thanks again.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Woo, so that was very, very informative. Just awesome. I hope you got a lot out of that, because I know I did. And I believe knowledge is power. When you know better, you do better, right? Which is the reason why we're doing this. My health is my wealth, even though my particular target audience is women entrepreneurs. This is for women in general, to be able to take better care of yourselves, listen to yourself, right? You know yourself, you know your body. You just have to stay in tune and stop putting yourself on the back burner. Because again, if you're not here, right, you're not gonna be able to, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not gonna be able to take care of anyone else. Okay. So always keep that in mind. Again, I am Dr. Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. You have joined us for 8 Queens Roundtable Leadership Symposium. This particular one is entitled My Health is My Wealth. Additionally, please make sure you subscribe, if you have not done so already, to the 8 Queens Roundtable YouTube channel. That way you can stay up to date with any time that I'm going live, and be able to, receive your alerts to make sure that you don't miss out. And that's what it's about, right? I don't want you to miss out. If you're interested in being a guest on the show, please contact me. Let me know. Let's have a conversation, and let's make it happen. All right. So until next time, everyone, take care.